The way you know that every single so-called mainstream media journalist in America is nothing but a pathetic puppet is that there isn't a single one of them who covered the bombshell Project Veritas revelations showing that Google's own people admit that Google is engaged in a massive criminal enterprise, election meddling, vote fraud, bias, censorship against conservatives, singling people out for censorship based on their political views, all admitted by Google's people, including their manager, Jen Janai. And yet, even though this is one of the biggest bombshell stories in the history of the internet, there's not a single journalist in the media, mainstream media, that's willing to cover this. That just tells you everything you need to know right there, because there is no journalism left in the legacy media. It's all a joke. It's all propaganda. And it's all about covering up their collusion, their racketeering, their crimes. It's about covering up everything instead of doing real investigations or real journalism of any kind. In fact, real journalism is being systematically censored. And the tech giants are running what I call a massive criminal enterprise. It's all racketeering. It's all a massive cover-up. And they're trying to pretend that if they can cover it up, then it didn't happen. I mean, Google's own YouTube censored the video from Project Veritas that exposed Google's censorship. It's incredible that you are not even allowed to talk about censorship now without being censored. In fact, it wasn't just Google that censored Project Veritas. Also, Vimeo censored them today, and Vimeo censored Natural News, shut us down on the same day that they disabled Project Veritas. So think about this coordinated criminal collusion across the tech platforms to silence independent journalism, to make sure that you never see the bombshell video that proves beyond any shadow of a doubt that Google is engaged in a massive criminal conspiracy. Now, that video, of course, is available on Brighteon.com. Brighteon.com. That's the video alternative that we built. It's the alternative to YouTube. It's being used by thousands of people who are uploading content, and I don't know, millions probably viewing it by now. And yet, even the independent media has been slow to move over to Brighteon.com. For example, Project Veritas doesn't have a channel there yet. Mark Dice doesn't have a channel there yet. And I keep wondering, well, what are you all waiting for? You know YouTube's going to censor you, as happened today with Project Veritas. You might as well make the move now while you can control it, while you can let your audience know where you're moving to. Brighteon.com is not going to censor you. Brighteon.com is financially sustainable. We're going to be here for a very long time. We built a platform for freedom of speech. Well, it's time people used it. Every independent media personality should be on Brighteon.com. And many of them are, but not enough yet. It's time for everybody to get moving and get onto Brighteon.com, because every other platform is going to ban you. Vimeo, Pinterest, YouTube, Facebook, Snapchat, even MailChimp. MailChimp banning email newsletters from independent media like Green Med Info. That happened. We covered it on NaturalNews.com. But getting back to the journalism aspect of this, isn't it astonishing to wake up and realize that you live in a world now where there's not a single honest journalist at the New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, MSNBC, the LA Times, any mainstream newspaper or news channel, not even Fox News. There's not a single journalist at Fox News. I'm talking about the regular hosting journalists who covered this. Now, of course, Sean Hannity covered it. Tucker Carlson covers it. But they're the exception. And they're, frankly, in a civil war inside Fox News, because Fox News is going all globalism. It's going all anti-Trump. Fox News is part of the establishment that's covering up everything. Before long, Fox News will be no different than CNN. You'll just see, Shep Smith on Fox News, he's basically Brian Stelter at this point. Same guy, just as pathetic. Same betrayal of America. And in fact, you think about these so-called journalists, every last one of them is a traitor to America and a traitor to their profession. And they wonder why the public has no trust in the media. It's because of people like them. It's because they don't report the truth. They cover up the biggest news of it's the biggest news since the creation of the internet, that Google has been caught admitting to gaming the system, silencing conservatives, and stealing elections. That's beyond huge. That's a massive criminal conspiracy. That is sedition. That's treason. That should earn Google executives criminal arrest, indictments, prosecutions by the Department of Justice for sedition and worse. It's the biggest story since the invention of the internet, and yet zero coverage in the legacy media, zero coverage. That's how far down the rabbit hole that we have gone. This country, you probably don't even recognize it anymore. You wake up, you look around like, my God, every voice of truth is censored. And yet everybody who's lying and who betrays America is celebrated. If you love your country, you're called a racist and a bigot. If you believe in defending your borders, you're called a racist. And then the tech giants say, well, we're going to ban everybody who's filled with hate. What's their definition of hate? Well, anybody who loves their country. It's a catch-22, all by design. If you love America, if you love the founding fathers, if you love the Constitution, if you believe in defending your borders, if you believe in the rule of law, if you believe that immigrants should follow the law and come into the country legally instead of illegally, then you are labeled hate. And then, you're violating their user terms of service and community guidelines, because their community guidelines say no hate allowed. Well, it won't be long before hate is defined as any criticism of a Democrat. So it looks like Elizabeth Warren is going to be the Democrat nominee for president. If you criticize Elizabeth Warren for any reason whatsoever, you will be called a hater and you will be deplatformed, permanently banned and censored. Now, when Obama was president, they could use the race card against you. If you disagree with Obama's policies, they could say, well, you're racist. They're like, what? I didn't say anything about Obama being half black or half white. They said, well, no, just the fact that you disagree with anything that Obama says makes you a racist because of the color of his skin. What? That makes no sense whatsoever. But doesn't have to make sense. This is what they do. Well, if you criticize Elizabeth Warren, they're going to call you a misogynist. They're going to say you hate women. What are you, a woman hater? First you were an Obama hater and a black hater. Now you're a woman hater. And you're like, no, I'm just disagreeing with her policy, disagreeing with her argument. It doesn't matter. You must hate all women. No, we don't hate all women. But this is how it's done. It's all about controlling the narrative. It's all about shutting down any speech that falls outside the boundaries of what they want to allow you to express. Because they, the tech giants and the media, they have constructed a massive mental prison. You are currently an occupant of that mental prison. You have a barcode burned into your forehead. That barcode is your user ID with Google. As a prisoner of this mental prison system, you are not allowed any freedoms whatsoever other than what the tech giants grant you. You may only utter words that they allow you to utter. You may only share content that they allow you to share. You may only watch videos that they say are okay for you to watch. You can't choose to watch your own videos. You can't choose to speak unless your speech is approved by the jailers, the prison engineers that work at Google. And that's what this has become. It's beyond fascism. It's beyond tyranny. It is a massive, coordinated criminal enterprise against humanity. And unless Google is stopped and all these tech giants are stopped, humanity will never be free. You will never be allowed to read the truth about anti-cancer foods. You will never be allowed to question the safety of vaccines. You'll never be allowed to promote organics or to talk about how to reverse diabetes using food. You will never be allowed to question any Democrat, and you'll never be allowed to promote any conservative. You won't be allowed to quote Bible scripture, and you'll be required to love infanticide, abortion, and child mutilations. This is the techno-tyranny future that's being rolled out right now. It's happening every day, and I warned you about it, and it's here. You can see it every day now. And there were a lot of people out there who thought that I was exaggerating 2 years ago when I was talking about this is coming. And a lot of people said, no, it's going to be fine. We're not talking about politics. We're not talking about culture issues. We're just talking about vitamins and nutrients and food. Guess what? You're all censored now too. Just like I warned would happen. It's here. So remember all of this, because it's only going to get worse unless we fight back. Now, what can you do to fight back? Well, call your senators, call your member of Congress, and also call your state attorney general. And you need to demand a couple of things. Number one, demand the repeal of Section 230. Section 230 of the CDA, that's called the Communications Decency Act, is what has granted these tech giants a special deal by the federal government where they cannot be sued for their content. And it has allowed them to engage in selective censorship without fear of being sued. Section 230 needs to be repealed. But secondly, just as importantly, state attorneys general need to file lawsuits against these tech companies. They need to be brought to court. They need to be prosecuted. And in some cases, they need to be prosecuted criminally for their racketeering and conspiracy/collusion. They are engaged in racketeering under the RICO Act. Federal government needs to prosecute Google, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, perhaps Vimeo, Pinterest, and others. They need to be prosecuted under the RICO Act, and their executives need to be indicted and marched out of there in handcuffs and subjected to federal prosecutions. This is the modern day mafia. This is the mob. It's the thought mob. They are more dangerous to society than Al Capone and the old Chicago mobs ever were. They are a danger to the very structure of our democracy, and if we do not stop them, they will enslave every man, woman, and child in the world until they have total control over everything that you're allowed to speak or think. So stay informed. Keep reading my website, naturalnews.com. Use our video site, brighteon.com. That's like the word bright, E-O-N, brighteon.com. Thank you for listening. Share this everywhere if you're still allowed to share anything. And thank you for listening. Most of the health products and supplements that you buy at Amazon or Whole Foods or grocery stores are never tested for glyphosate, pesticides, heavy metals, or even microbiology. At our store, healthrangerstore.com, we test everything we sell. We offer the cleanest, lab-verified products sold anywhere in the world. healthrangerstore.com, over 700 products for health and home, all laboratory validated and tested for your safety. Check it out at healthrangerstore.com. Thank you for watching. If you want to support our mission, visit us at healthrangerstore.com for the world's largest selection of lab-verified superfood and nutritional products for healthy living. It's at healthrangerstore.com.